All right. Welcome to episode 4 of the official Shipmate Sports Podcast.
I like the
I'm
official
Mike.
Mike.
Yeah, hey, we are official, man. I don't know. We need to trademark it, though, or something like that. So we'll look into that. I don't know if we really have anything to worry about. Okay, so this is the start of preseason NFL football.
Gotta love it, Mike. Gotta love it.
We're getting closer. I think we are less than a month away from the start of the official NFL regular season.
It's right there, Mike.
But I think that preseason, a lot of people don't really enjoy the preseason.
Oh, I love it.
Because it's not
Mike, there's kicker battles for Pete's sakes.
I mean, when you're a Detroit fan, you want to have a good kicker. Right, you want to have something good kicker and a good punter because
the Jets and the Lions, I guess, had the two worst ranked teams as far as the kickers go. Did you know that?
Oh, very good. Well, you got to win at something. All right, so that's all right. No, Detroit has Randy Bullock this year as their kicker, and it's I guess I could go kick field goal. That guy, he's just not good. He just doesn't have a good history of making kicks, man. I mean, he didn't make it in Cincinnati, and they know him as Fat Randy around the campfire. And I mean,
you would think. I mean, you just take a shot in the draft. I mean, maybe not in the draft, but like a free agent kicker or something, like a rookie kicker. If you know your kicker's that bad, go out and get somebody that's never kicked before in the NFL and just see what he does. It can't be worse.
That's the situation too. I think that, yeah, I totally agree, man.
Like the Patriots brought in this kid from Michigan, Quinn Nordine, and I want to say he was like a 65% kicker from Michigan, but he's got a monster of a leg. So what the hell? Bring him in, see what happens. He's going against Nick Folk, for Pete's sakes, who had a decent year last year, but Nick Folk's a journeyman kicker. I mean, I don't know. If you're not solid there, bring in 2, bring in 3, just let them all kick. Somebody's got to get it through, right?
I mean, I don't need a CrossFit athlete for a kicker. I just need a guy who can be accurate consistently, and Bullock isn't that guy. He hasn't made kicks in training camp from like 50 yards, 55. 55 is kind of like where the peak and everything. I'm not expecting 60-yard field goals. I expect you to have the leg for that. It doesn't have to necessarily be accurate from that distance. But I think if you're kicking field goals from the 40, you need to be hitting those kicks. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, man. I mean, just draft a guy, bring a guy in free agency. It
just goes to our point of just the random things about the preseason that makes it fun. I mean, I enjoyed the different battles. I enjoy the quarterback battles. And then we talked about last time that the players that'll be there in the fourth quarter that probably won't make a roster, but might be cusp of practice squad guys.
And that's the great thing about the preseason, man, is that you're seeing these guys who are gonna play at some point during the season. I mean, your ones are gonna get hurt. We're already seeing, the top of the depth chart guys get hurt, especially there in Indianapolis. Now you're saying Carson Wentz, but whatever. He might come back and play. We're seeing these injuries happen, and the guys who are second and third on the depth chart, they're gonna play during the season.
But you also find your diamonds in the rough. And especially in these early ones, you find your diamonds, your rookie free agents, your 6th, 7th round picks. I revert back to the Patriots. You find your Julian Edelmans, you find your Tom Brady's, and there's a million of those guys out there. You go team by team, and these are the games where you find those guys. I go back to Edelman's rookie year. I mean, I want to say he took back almost 2 punts, one for a touchdown, one was like 80 yards or something, and just did blossom from there. And these games, you find those type of guys. I believe the Chiefs had it with who's their wide receiver, the speedster there.
Tyreek Hill.
He was like a 6th or a 7th round pick, and he comes out and he blowing people away on the field. And
well, this kind of goes to illustrate the point that you don't have to draft a wide receiver. You don't have to spend these high draft picks on wide receivers. Wide receivers do not win you games. They help. They can help, but I mean, you look at like Cleveland, right? They got OBJ over there, and that I forget who their other wide receiver is. Is it Landry? Is it Jarvis Landry?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a pretty solid wide receiving core, right? They just like wide receivers don't shit, man. Detroit had Megatron all those years. It didn't even win a playoff. I don't want to hear it. All this obsession with wide receivers, DeAndre Hopkins over in Arizona now, and all that time Julio Jones spent in Atlanta. There are elite wide receivers and everything like that, but they complement what the nucleus that you have that should be really strong: offensive line, quarterback. Right?
Yeah,
And
I mean,
that's kind of where everything starts. That offensive line has got to be squared away, man. It has to. It doesn't have to be, but it should.
I mean, that's where the game's won, Mikey. In the trenches, your offensive and defensive lines. That's where it's won. But so we're getting into it. We got oh wow, I just got really bright.
Let there be light.
Thank you to my wife for that. So we got the Patriots and Redskins kicking off in a little bit. I wanted to discuss with you a couple of things. So around here, again, I'm going to revert to the Patriots. There's a quarterback competition here. There's a quarterback competition with Washington. Which one you want to talk about first? Why don't we go with
Why don't we start with you first, Joey? You're the one sacrificing your time to be here with me. We're talking about your team.
All right. So Cam Newton, Mac Jones. I think it's pretty clear that Cam's going to start on the field first tonight. I'm really interested to see what the reps go for each quarterback tonight. Cam's been playing with the ones. But the thing is Mac's also been getting a lot of reps with the ones. So I'm interested to see if Mac will get any play tonight in the preseason game with the ones. Because you got to think that Bill won't want to throw Mac Jones behind this, the second and third string lineman. I don't think. If he's going to be out there, I mean, he's still got a lot of value to this team, whether he starts or not. I'm referring to Mac Jones. So you would think he'd probably get some play with the ones, right?
I think so. I mean,
that's your future.
Well, it's your potential future.
Yeah.
We don't know that yet. We need to see Mac Jones play with the ones. However, I think Cam's the starting quarterback.
Yeah. And I agree with that. I do agree with that.
It may not be set in stone. However, Cam's your starter. He was a starter there last year. It's Cam year 2 in New England, which is good for him, which is really good.
It's Cam year 2. It's Cam year 2 with the preseason, with God willing, no COVID. Because what did he get that after the second week last year? He got it and missed a week, and then nothing was right after that. But you're right. And I think he's earned the chance to have the starting job. But I mean, there's a lot of reports out there that Mac's outplaying him, and if he just continues to outplay him, do you make the move and you go with Mac?
I don't. Here's the thing. I think that it's Cam's job to lose. I think that go ahead. Sorry. So
can he lose it in the preseason? Do you think?
No, I don't think
you think that there's no scenario, barring injury, you don't see a scenario where Mac Jones outright wins the job from Cam Newton and starts week 1.
No, man, this is Belichick we're talking about. Okay, this isn't Sean McVay, or not Sean McVay. The guy Adam. This isn't Adam Gase. My bad. Yeah. No disrespect, Sean McVay, great coach. I apologize for that mistake. Yeah. This isn't Adam Gase. Okay, Belichick knows the game. He knows what he's doing. He's a master coach. He's the best coach we've probably ever seen. Okay, in our lifetimes, he may be the best coach ever. Arguably, you're not rolling into the season and saying, Mac Jones did really well in preseason against the other teams, backups. So Washington might not even play their starting defense this game or in the preseason at all, because that defense is so well put together. I mean, so what accurate data are you really getting from Mac Jones?
It's tough. I mean, if Washington's not putting out Chase, I'm going to throw Chase Young. He's obviously this stuff. But if they're not putting out their best, then Cam plays okay. I mean, you're right. You don't get an accurate read, but Mike, what if they don't put out their ones and Cam still plays bad?
He should play bad. It's preseason. This is the time to play bad. This is my thing about the Patriots quarterback situation. If by like week 6 or 7, if Cam is not consistent, if he's consistently struggling, then I would say, okay, we have to send the message to Cam. It has to be better. Mm-hmm. that Mac Jones is going to go in. And then by that time, right. And these quarterbacks are coming out of college ready to go. This isn't.
That's why I can't say that I can't envision no scenario where Mac Jones doesn't win the job. I mean, if Cam just comes out and lays an egg in this game and then in the next one, and Mac Jones comes in and he's playing well, regardless if it's against the twos, then you got to give him some run against the ones. And if he clearly is the better quarterback, you got to give it to him. You play the one that give.
I don't agree with it. Not in the preseason. Joey, this is the preseason, man. This doesn't matter to a lot of the players, a lot of the guys who are going to be out there week 1 ready to go.
But it does though. I mean, if there's a competition and this is the competition right now, then it should matter. The better one should be the one that's playing. And if it is Mac, then it should be Mac. If it's Cam, it should be Cam. If it's a wash, they're both playing the same, then it goes to me. It goes to the guys that had it last, which is Cam. You know,
I think we might be I think that's just too much emphasis on the preseason. I think the preseason should be, I don't even think Cam should play. I think it should just Todd Gurley status that is just be like, yeah, you're not playing in the preseason. Like,
he did nothing to earn himself that type of status. Not last year. No way. If he proved anything last year, it was that he needed the training camp and he needed the off-season games and he needed the preseason games. I mean, he proved it that they were just bad.
Then, I mean, you give him a few drives. You get maybe you give him like one drive tonight. You maybe give him like a few drives in the second game and you sit him for the third game. You need your starting quarterback. Belichick knows who his starting quarterback is already. Mac Jones needs to see more time and play in the NFL. And it might even benefit him to play against the 2s and the 3s because those guys are trying their hardest to keep or make that roster. So that could benefit Mac Jones. But I think going into the season, you start week 1 with Cam, and by like week 6, if you're 1-5 at week 6, you roll with Mac Jones.
So are you of the mindset, like we were talking before this, the Patriots play the Bucs in week 4, and there's a lot of people that don't think that Mac Jones should play in the game against Tom Brady. And I know they're not going to be on the field at the same time, but the gist of it is, you know, it could be a morale crusher for Mac Jones if Brady goes out there and wipes the floor with him. To me, I'm just saying, listen, the guy's a pro. Throw him out on the field, let him play. If Cam has lost the job by then, if you're going into week 4, you're 0-3, and Cam has played terrible in all 3 games. I'm sorry. The fact that it's Tom Brady coming into town should have no factor on your decision. And you put Mac in. If Mac's ready, you put him in regardless. And because at 0-3 with a 17-game schedule, there's still a shot. You still have 14 games left.
And Bill knows you can come out of September with a negative record. 1-3, whatever the case is. And still make the playoffs and everything like that. And it's, you got the extra game in there this year. So there's a little bit more wiggle room. But I mean, I don't like that, just because Tom Brady's coming to town, don't put Aaron Rodgers is going to come to town, Roethlisberger's going to come, Mahomes is going to be there. You're going to play. Doesn't matter. I mean, you look around the league right now.
They're saying that it could be demoralizing if the fans are cheering for Brady and, that could, but listen, that's got to roll off your back. I mean,
I think Mac Jones played at Alabama. Okay. Yeah. So he's played at some pretty competitive games, national championships. Every game in Alabama is must win. You could be playing, Nichols State, and you got to win that game. There's no games off at Alabama. This is Alabama football. I mean, he
played for Nick Saban, for Pete's sake.
He understands pressure. He understands situations. He's ready to go. Just because he might even rise up to the occasion. Tom Brady comes to town, like, okay, you guys don't want to cheer for me, I'll win you over, and he'll win the crowd over, gladiator style. So I mean, I wouldn't. I think that's just people talking for the sake of making something out of nothing. I don't agree with that. I think that's silly. Oh, his mind might get messed up. Whatever.
Yeah. I mean, before we make this too Patriots themed, I mean, obviously, no, because I could talk Patriots all day, and I want to make sure we touch on some other teams on the other side of the field. Obviously, to a lesser scale, it's Ryan Fitzpatrick, I guess, has been playing really, really well over there for the Redskins, and they're really impressed with him in his leadership. And there are some, though, that really like how, again, Heineke. I'm going with Heineke. I'm rolling with Heineke. If it's not right, I apologize. You can make fun of it, whatever.
We make fun of ourselves enough. We're good to go.
That's it. Yeah, I mean, Fitzpatrick and Heineke. Mike, you were talking about it. That's a good team over there, and they have all right. To a lesser scale, they have kind of a 2000-ish Ravens feel to them. Really, really good defense, good enough offense, but their quarterback is just not good. But Fitzpatrick can be a solid quarterback.
Well, I mean, Fitzpatrick is, he's the Frank Gore of quarterbacks, right?
He won't go away.
Just won't.
He's good. He's good enough to hang around.
He's still productive too.
He really is.
He's going to be productive for. I think the word a lot of people use is serviceable, right? He's serviceable. Yeah. But I mean, that team, Washington, is a team where you plug in a Trent Dilfer type of quarterback, and you're talking playoff wins, a deep playoff, maybe
I don't know.
You play.
I don't know. I think you're going a little.
That team is ready. That team is ready to go, man. And I don't.
Listen, I don't think you're.
I'm a Ron Rivera fan. I will say.
I am too. I think he's a good coach. I don't think you're way out of bounds by saying that Washington is a playoff team. We've had that discussion with the NFC East, and but I don't know, Mike. Playoff wins, Dude,
they could play a team like. I don't know. I mean, they could play. Well, that's true. I mean, the teams that make the playoffs usually pretty stout.
Yeah,
but I mean, Trent. Okay, so here's the reason why Trent Dilfer was a quarterback who wouldn't lose the game for you, right? They call him the game manager. Alex
but that
Smith,
defense was going to absolutely win the game for you.
Defense is, yeah.
And I like I said, Washington's got a very, very good defense. They're obviously not unworldly. They're not the 2000 Ravens.
Nobody's a 2000.
We're not saying that. We're saying that they're modeling their team in that way, and they're following that type of a blueprint. And I do agree with you. Like I said, I would not be surprised if they did win the NFC East.
I mean, they were with Heineke last year in the playoffs, right?
That's why there's those out there that think he should get the bulk of the playing time. But I mean, Fitzpatrick's been around a long time. And that's another. Who are you going into the season with? If you're Washington, if you're Ron Rivera, whose job is it to lose right now?
I'm rolling with Heineke. I'm rolling with Heineke, and I would say Fitzpatrick. Look, we love what you can do. He would be a great veteran presence for any young quarterback. He has seen everything. He has just about done everything. I mean, he's been in this league for a long time, and I mean, he would be a great quarterbacks coach. He may be. I mean, that's almost like having a quarterback coach right there on the roster. Mentoring Taylor Heineke and guiding him. Hey, if they line up like this, you should be really, looking at the, the outside receiver or the slot receiver, you know what I mean? That'd be great to have. But I mean, Heineke's there. I mean, he was in the playoffs with him. I would roll with him. Why not?
again, this is where I think preseason is going to come in huge. If this kid comes out and absolutely stinks and Fitzpatrick plays well, I mean, I think the decision is there for you. There are some situations where I think the preseason has to be the deciding factor. If this kid comes out and just doesn't have it, and every time Ryan Fitzpatrick is in, he's doing well, you got to go with him.
Here's where the preseason matters to me the most. When you are trying to square away your number twos, right? Your second guys all in the depth chart.
Yeah.
Those battles between, because you're talking about guys who are currently on the proverbial chopping block, right? They're trying to make that second or third spot. And so you have guys who are just, fourth, fifth, and sixth on the depth chart who need to show that they belong, either practice squad or on that third spot on the depth chart. If you're taking in a third offensive tackle or offensive lineman, whatever, defensive lineman, stuff like that, positions of depth, your fifth wide receiver, your third running back, things of that nature. Special teams, guys, love the special teams battles and everything like that. That's a spot. If you're looking to make a team, maybe you make special teams. So I don't think you do that with your quarterback. I think at this point who your quarterback should. You have like an 80%, 70-80%, probably more like a 70% idea of who your quarterback is rolling into week one right now, barring injury. That it's Cam's job. I would roll with Taylor Heineke. You brought in the veteran Fitzpatrick for a reason.
Yeah.
Right. I don't think that reason is to take the job from Taylor Heineke, but it's also to show, hey man, we need you to show that you still belong here. That last year wasn't a fluke.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Tomorrow night we got the Bills, who I think is probably right there with the Chiefs as the AFC favorites, and your Lions. Josh Allen just gets a huge contract, very well deserved I think. And
I think everybody agrees with that. I don't think there's too many people that you don't want to pay him. I mean, somebody was talking about how they did it potentially like a year early, but
listen,
you're probably paying him more money next year. Yeah.
Get him locked up. Everybody says it. The NFL salary cap, it's there, but it's not hard. You can maneuver it a million ways. It's a big chunk of change, but it's a quarterback driven league. Josh Allen's one of the best in the business. The Bills have been waiting a long time for a quarterback. They got one. Don't let him go anywhere. Obviously, he wasn't going to be heading anywhere anyway, but I think they made the right move. And I think they're going to be players in the AFC for a very long time now.
With the curious case of Joshua Allen is that he has statistically improved
every season.
Yep. And typically,
and the Steph Diggs signing did huge things for him.
Yeah,
what a move that was.
They're helping, and I know this is a crazy idea in the NFL, but they're helping their quarterback develop. Yep. They're getting him pieces and support, and that's what you do.
Just a great move. Such a great move.
That defense is squared away. That offensive line squared away.
Sean McDermott's an awesome coach. They're built.
That their offensive coordinator, Brian Dable, Bill Dable. I think it's Brian Dable.
Brian Dable. Yep.
Yeah, he's
Patriot disciple.
Solid. He gets talked about for head coaching vacancies. They better not let him leave. Pay him.
No, they got a good thing going in. And let's go off the rails a little bit. We had talked earlier this week. Another young team that's kind of in the same position as them, the Cleveland Browns. Another really good quarterback, good defense, good coach. Which team do you think is built to last out of the Bills and the Browns? Because those are two solid young teams. They both won their first playoff games in a long time last year. Which do you think has a better foundation moving forward?
So this is an interesting thing because the Bills just paid Josh Allen. If if I'm pretending like the salary cap matters, which I would like to believe that it does,
Yeah.
but it probably doesn't. But anyway, whatever, personal beliefs aside, Baker Mayfield is currently not one of these quarterbacks making $30 million a year. I don't know if Baker Mayfield
but he's up for it, though. He's up for it.
He is up for it. I don't know if he is that Dak Prescott type of money, Josh Allen type of money talent. So the Cleveland Browns can actually benefit from that. They could pay Baker somewhere in the realm in the 20s, right? Which is cheap.
See, I think the Josh Allen contract is going to hurt the Browns because I think Baker's going to want that kind of money.
That's
and he might want more than that. You know what I mean?
I don't think that he is that. I think that Baker Mayfield is talented. I think that the Browns would benefit more I think that Baker Mayfield would benefit more by taking less money. Tom Brady style.
Mayfield or Allen, real quick. Mayfield or Allen?
Allen.
Okay, 100%. Okay.
But that's not to say. I mean, you're talking about a team that made the playoffs last year. A lot of people are picking them to win the AFC North. There's a lot of talent in Cleveland. There's a crap ton of talent. That team is loaded. You're talking about another team that needs a serviceable quarterback, has a solid defense, great offensive line, not to mention their running backs and what their skill positions are legit.
Well, Chubb's awesome. Chubb's one of the best.
OBJ is coming back. They got the other wide receiver, Landry.
Yep.
Yeah, man. So, I mean, that's not a bad team. That team, I mean, you're talking about they could easily make the AFC, maybe not easily, but easily make the playoffs again.
Oh, yeah.
He's ready to go, man.
Well, that's why I say, I mean, both of these teams are lined up for good futures. It's basically going to come down to how well they manage it. And
I just don't think that Baker Mayfield is that Josh Allen type of money quarterback. He's not that talented. He's not there. However, he has an effect on that team, on that city. And it's something you can't really quantify. You can't really put a number on it. You feel it. And so I think that Baker Mayfield.
It's another team though, Mikey, that's been waiting how long for a quarterback. And I think that the Cleveland fans don't. I think that they're a little blind to it, and they want to believe that Baker is better than he really is. Baker Mayfield's a good quarterback, and I'm not saying that he's not.
I would take Baker in Detroit. I like Jared Goff. We got Goff. I'm happy with that. I'll take Goff. But if Goff wasn't there, would you take Baker on the Patriots right now over Cam and Mac?
Yes, no question. But I mean, my point on this is that this is a fan base that has been so, desperate for a quarterback that they have one that's playing well. And I think maybe they think he's a little bit better than he is just because they've been it's a very passionate fan base. And they've just wanted a quarterback. But that's not to say that I don't think Baker can be as good as Josh Allen, because I do. I think that the talent is there. I think that, Josh Allen has already gotten to that point, though. Josh Allen has already made the leap to being an elite top 5 quarterback in the NFL. Baker's, I'd say, probably right on the top 10, top 15 line.
And so if Baker needs another year, and maybe this is it, for him to prove that he is that quarterback, then it's a wait and see from me. But right now, I don't think he's a $40 million a year quarterback. He's just not.
Yeah.
Not to say he's not a high, I think Baker would benefit greatly by taking less money to keep the talent that's in place around it. I think all quarterbacks would benefit greatly from that. And
but like we said, Mike, I mean, that cap is just so funky. I mean, what did Mahomes get? Didn't he get somewhere? I'm going to throw out a number. Wasn't it something like 50? Something ridiculous?
I mean, yeah, it's something like that. But
and I mean, they're still able to put players around him. They still got Kelsey. They still got Tyreek Hill. They were able to pull the lineman from the Patriots, the all-pro lineman there from the Patriots, Tooney. So they're still bringing in people. The defensive side of their ball might be a little bit more of an issue this year.
Well, they need that offensive line help because that hurt them in the Super Bowl. I mean, Kansas City's not thinking, yeah, man, let's win the division. They're thinking Super Bowl. So I wonder how long financially it can last in Kansas City. If the cap is what we are speculating it to be, then it can last a long time. And so it just kind of is what it is.
Can you see? Can you see? So the beginning part of this decade, the AFC was predominantly the Patriots, the Colts, and the Steelers. Those three teams were involved in it every year. Do you see? And that was a good 15-year run of those three teams, maybe even a little bit longer.
It was a 20-year run of the Patriots.
Exactly. Chiefs, Bills, Browns. Do you think that they have the power and the longevity to kind of duplicate that, or is this what run the Patriots, Colts had there with the Steelers? Is that something that you don't think can be replicated to that extent? Just because those are three really good teams, all three of them have very young quarterbacks, and it just seems like it seems like it's tracking that way.
Well, it's definitely possible. Two of those teams, and in fact, all three of those teams don't necessarily have, like the Steelers have that history of just always being in the conversation. They're in the conversation again. I think they were your pick for the AFC North, right? I mean, the Steelers are one of those franchises that's always around, right? They're always reliable to be.
This is why I'm saying, are we starting to see a little changing of the guard?
I think so. I mean, Ben's getting older. He might have one, maybe strong, maybe 2 years left. So yeah, I can totally see the Bills and Browns and Chiefs. You look at the quarterbacks that are in play. They're all young, and if they're all talented. And so yeah, man, I mean, all they really have to do is the front offices will mess this up if anybody's going to mess it up. It always kind of comes down to who's running the team, the owner, the GM, maybe not so much the coach, but the coach and the coaching staff there as well, the training staff. As long as the front office doesn't really screw it up. Yeah, totally. And that's the thing. That's why the Patriots lasted so long. And they're still in the mix, man, because Belichick's still there. I mean, he's got control, and Kraft is over there in the box, doing whatever Kraft is doing.
I think it would be good for the game. And obviously it would kill me as a Patriots fan, but I think it would be good for the game if there was three new teams that kind of were like your juggernauts. Because when the Patriots played the Colts, that was, appointment TV. When the Colts played the Steelers, that was appointment TV, Steelers, Patriots. When those three teams played each other, that was it. And the three new teams, I mean, those are three great quarterbacks. Like I said, I mean, I don't put Baker up as high as the other two quite yet, but I think he can get there. But it's going to be interesting to see, especially for the Bills and the Browns. They've got a taste of winning. They both have a good taste now of winning, what it feels like to win. You did it one time. Everybody can do it one time.
Yeah.
Can you do it twice?
Is this the Eli Manning outlier type of deal?
Yeah.
Where,
and I don't think it is, because I just think both of those teams are too talented for that to be it.
You look at how they're built, and they are built. It's not just, hey, we paid our quarterback all this
$1 trillion, yeah,
and we have space to bring other talent in, and they do. And so yeah, man, as long as the front office doesn't screw it up, they're totally fine. That being said, I think that we could see the Bills and Browns, and there's a couple other teams, but yeah, I could totally see them consistently being in that conversation for, yeah, they might win the division this year, especially with Ben. He's on his way out. I mean, so yeah, I could totally see it. I totally agree.
Well, now, I mean, we were talking about the Browns. The Browns play Saturday, and they got the Jaguars. Some news out of Jacksonville. Urban Meyer won't commit one way or another to whether or not Tim Tebow will be the starting tight end.
Well,
you know where I'm going with that. I'm going with that.
Well, I mean, if he's not going to commit to Trevor Lawrence, or at least he's publicly going to say that.
Is that just him? Is that just him?
It's the old smoke and mirrors.
Is he trying to say the right thing? But he ultimately knows. Or is Trevor Lawrence just not ready?
Well, I don't think Trevor Lawrence is quote unquote like ready, the way some other quarterbacks are around the league, some of the veteran guys. He's not ready in the same way Ben Roethlisberger's ready, right? He's not ready in the same way that Kyler Murray is ready. He's a rookie. He's
the number one pick in the draft, Mikey. I mean,
I think he.
There hasn't been.
He's a quarterback there.
There hasn't been this much talk about a number one pick since probably Andrew Luck. I mean, this guy was as surefire as. I mean, he was the number one pick 3 years ago. They've been talking about Trevor Lawrence for 3 years now. He was the can't miss guy. So I think there's got to be some smoke and mirrors to this. Maybe they're just talking up Gardner Minshew because maybe they're trying to move him and they want to keep his trade value high.
Well, that's what they're saying about Shanahan over there in San Francisco. That right. Trey Lance has done great. He's playing awesome. And then if he talks up Trey Lance, then
it diminishes Jimmy.
Well, it increases the asking price for Jimmy G. If anybody's going after Jimmy G, you know what I mean? Because it's like, well, we already have a great backup plan if Jimmy G goes down again, which he might.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like the same thing here. You put that out there and the film's out on Gardner Minshew. So, I mean, that's
I looked at his numbers. His numbers are really good. I didn't realize that he.
So here's the case for Gardner Minshew.
He doesn't throw a lot of picks.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is that like he would be somebody that, a team like Washington could go get.
Mm-hmm.
And just.
Yeah. If they're Heineke and Fitzpatrick doesn't work out, I mean, that's a guy around the trade deadline that could be available.
But if I'm in Jacksonville, man, if I'm Urban Meyer, just like, dude, you got to roll. You drafted him number 1 overall.
You have to. And that's why, I mean, that game's going to be interesting to see again. I mean, just like I was talking about tonight with the Patriots between Kim and Mac. It'll be interesting to see who he rolls out first and, what percentage of snaps each guy gets against the ones.
Yeah, man. So, I mean, for me, I think that Trevor Lawrence is the guy going in this. He's your number 1 guy.
Yeah.
But I mean, it definitely helps to have a guy like Minshew there who knows well, I don't know if he knows the offense because he got a whole new coaching staff in there and everything. But are you putting Tim Tebow back there? No, man, you're just not. He doesn't.
I know you love talking Tebow.
Well, he's a distraction, dude. He is. He's just I mean, he's so polarizing.
He's done nothing to earn it.
Yeah, I mean, has he taken snaps at quarterback in Jacksonville? Does he know the offense? I mean, he should know the offense. He's playing tight end or trying to play tight end.
Mike, I just want to point out that it's you that's talking Tim Tebow right now, not me.
It's worth talking about if we're talking about quarterbacks in Jacksonville and Urban Meyer non-committal.
Yeah,
Trevor Lawrence, because now he
does love him some Tim Tebow.
So I don't think Tim Tebow is going to be a factor. He'll be the tight end, second string. Who's the tight end in Jacksonville? I mean, I don't know. Like, so
we got to get.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think it's.
Unfortunately, we don't have that on cue thing of ESPN where we just have everybody's name at the ready.
I mean, I could just pull it up on my phone right now, but whatever, man. I'm trying to be a professional.
When we go national, Mikey, that's when we'll have everybody.
I'm telling you, man. We got 14 subscribers now. We're up from 12.
When the Shipmate Sports Podcast is on Fox Sports Net or whatever it is, FS1, whatever the hell it is now. When we take Skip Bayless's job, that's when we'll know everybody's name by heart.
Would it be that hard to take Skip Bayless's job? All I really have to do is scream and talk about the Dallas Cowboys, and I think
how much you love Tom Brady. Does he hate or does he love the Cowboys? He loves the Cowboys, right?
Well, he just loves to talk about them.
Yeah.
It's Dallas because I think he came from like the Dallas Morning News or something like that. So he's not talking, Detroit football anytime soon. So
well, someday the Shipmate Sports Podcast might be on there. So when we have that and we have those resources, we'll know everybody on the ready.
What else is happening tonight? Preseason. What else is going on? What's interesting?
What do we got? We got the Bengals and the Bucks. That should be a good one. You think Tom Brady plays?
I don't think Brady played. I think Brady.
You think Tom Brady's going to show up with a baseball cap and a clipboard?
I think so. I don't even think he wears pads. Not tonight. No way. He might do one.
That's Saturday.
drive
The
in, game
Bengals
3.
and Bucks is Saturday.
Okay. Yeah, he might do one drive, one series, if that, this preseason. He doesn't need to. No reason to risk it. You're gonna have some third string defensive tackle try to make a name for himself by hitting Tom Brady. Don't put him out there.
Let me ask you this. In years past, right? We're going back pre-COVID. Which preseason game was it that everybody played?
When you had 4?
Yeah.
It was game 3.
Game 3, everybody played.
Yeah.
So now that there's 3 games, I wonder if they're going to, like, the second game will be the equivalent to what the third used to be. Or I wonder if it'll be game 1.
Ideally, you want your starters to get out there. Like in Detroit, right? Dan Campbell said, hey, the starters are going to play the first quarter, right, of game 1. The whole first quarter, right? Mm-hmm. Because that offense hasn't really played together before. It's all new personnel.
Yeah, and it should be.
You got to iron out the wrinkles, excuse me. And that's understandable. In Tampa Bay, you don't need to do that. That whole offense is played together. They know what's going on.
They're returning the entire offense.
Yeah, they know what the expectation is. I mean, Antonio Brown's like, nah, I'm good. I need to play. Like, he knows. Brady knows. Gronk knows. Mike Evans doesn't need to play. Come on. Leonard Fournette doesn't need to play.
Breaking news, by the way, Mac Jones will be jersey number 10.
Oh, he got off 50. Got off the Schneid.
Yes, he'll be jersey number 10.
Is 10 a good number? I don't know. That's the Eli Manning number, right? I don't know.
There's a lot of 10s in the house at Foxborough today.
I'm not buying it. Why is that breaking news? His jersey number changed?
Yeah.
You guys are hurting for sports news up there. Isn't there Red Sox playing? Come on. Breaking news. We're not going to redefine what breaking news is.
Yeah, we are certainly not going to get into Red Sox. But, that's something that I wanted to talk real quick. It's kind of a small thing, but it's going to drive me crazy. The jersey numbers now, with just anybody can wear anything. I hate it, Mikey. I hate it. There was just a linebacker wearing number 9. I don't like it. No, I'm not a fan.
Joey also likes turkey on Thanksgiving, everybody. He's stuck in tradition and he hates change.
You mean to tell me that's not going to bother you?
Who cares what number they're wearing, man?
It's awful. That's college stuff, Mikey. This is the pros. You're in the pros. Wear the right number.
Let them have fun out there, man.
I don't want to see a quarterback wearing 94. No, it's not natural. It's like saying let a lefty play shortstop. It's not natural.
So this goes back to my turkey on Thanksgiving thing where, we've just done stuff for so long. Why can't we keep doing it? Who cares? It's let them wear whatever number. Who made the rules like, oh, you got to wear number 5 if you're the kicker. Yeah, let the kicker wear 98. Who cares? It's a number, dude. The number shouldn't matter. Now, some guys get superstitious, like, I got to wear number 21 if I'm a running back or cornerback.
It's unnatural. It's unnatural.
I don't think that the definition behind unnatural really fits here, because like something that happens in nature, right, isn't a jersey number that a player decides to. I don't know.
All right. We'll get back on track then.
Joey likes turkey on Thanksgiving.
All right.
This is what happens when you talk preseason football. You get all
the Bucks and the Bengals. We talked about the Bucks. You don't think Brady's going to? What have you heard about Joe Murray? Joe Burrow.
So I don't know what is his timeline on return, because he had an ACL injury, and that
wasn't he at practice this past week? I don't know what like what he did, but I thought there was something about him being out there.
So yes, what I've heard or read about Joe Burrow at practices thus far is that he is still behaving like he is worried about getting hit in that leg still, and he should be. I don't know how fast does an ACL heal. It's a ligament. This isn't a broken bone 2 months in your back.
Mike, I'm looking right here. Zach Taylor, the coach of the Bengals, is not ruling out Joe Burrow playing during the preseason.
I think.
And that's
what's he gonna play? Like a drive? He's not gonna
that's
play
pro football.
a game.
If I'm a Bengals fan, I don't care if he takes one snap and nails on it. If he's in pads in the preseason and he gets behind center, I'm optimism. I got optimism.
Yeah, you got
I'd rather that than him,
don't
see him on the sideline with crutches.
I do not. Yeah. I don't think he's going to be on crutches. What my point here is that I don't like this emphasis that we are putting on preseason football. The games do not matter. They do not matter to Joe Burrow.
And I'm going to give you that one. I'm going to give you that one that if I had my say, which obviously I don't, I would not want Burrow on the field as a owner, or if I had any stake in the Bengals. However, as a fan, I would be beside myself if I knew. With that news right there, that there's even a chance that he might play. That's now I've got serious optimism, because that's another team they had Carson Palmer, but that's another team that's been desperate for a quarterback, and they got one, and he looked legit. And unfortunately, he had the torn ACL, and so now hopefully he's able to come back to where he was. And it's a tough injury to come back from, especially where you don't have that much, you're not that long in the tooth, if you will, of being an NFL player. Hopefully he's able to pick up where he left off.
What bothers me about the Bengals is that it benefited my Detroit Lions, but they passed on one of the higher rated offensive linemen coming out of this year's draft for a wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, you got to have some priorities here, man. You can go and get a wide receiver in the second, third, fourth, fifth round of the NFL draft. We've seen it done time and time again. Offensive linemen are at
Fitzpatrick starting at quarterback.
Good for him. It's preseason football, Joey. But offensive line play is at a premium. You have to protect. Joe Burrow is Cincinnati. Like, he is the franchise.
Yeah,
protect him.
Like you said, the kid that the Lions took should not have ended up in their lap.
No, and I'm happy they got him, because if your offensive line is solid.
What's the name? Pintel?
Penei Sewell. Sewell. Solid. One of our boys from Hawaii. So I think he's Samoan.
They drafted him out of Oregon, right?
Yeah, went to Oregon. Mm-hmm. But he's Samoan. Anyway, but you have to protect Joe Burrow, right? He's not Aaron Rodgers. He's not going to go and scramble around. He's kind of like a Drew Brees, Phillip Rivers pocket passer,
mm-hmm.
right? He's got some mobility to him.
He's got some mobility, but yeah,
he's not a scrambler, which kind of benefits the offensive line, but I think that benefits the defensive line a little bit more, because they know where he's going to be. So but like I say, with that report, at least that there's a glimmer of hope, because obviously if Burrow wasn't going to be there, the Bengals were going nowhere. We can agree on that. The Bengals were going nowhere. I don't even know who the Bengals backup.
And even with Burrow, I still think that they're borderline not playoff, but at least it puts them in the discussion. They're going to hover around a 500 team with Burrow.
I think they're the fourth team in that division right now.
Yeah.
And that's it's a tough division, man. The AFC North is a tough division. You look at the other three teams, and it's anybody's game, really. It's so competitive up there. So you just don't know. But that's okay, dude. I think the Bengals, right? They had, I don't know what they did in free agency in the offseason, but you give this kid a little bit more time, and then they start to really move into that discussion of maybe like a wild card team, stuff like that. You don't know what Cleveland's going to do with Baker in the long run. You just don't. Ben's retiring, and Baltimore's solid. So
yeah, So we'll see what plays out there. But those are some. I think there are some interesting storylines that we're going to be following here this weekend, Mikey. And there was a few other games that we didn't touch on. There was one more game that we said if we had a little bit of time, we might touch base on real quick. And this is the Texans and Packers. I guess we'll touch real quick on the elephant in the room. Deshaun Watson. Have you heard much? Not
I mean,
from the off-field stuff. I mean, is he
but I mean,
playing? Is he getting reps?
He's technically still on the roster.
Yep.
So, if he can play this, I mean, the Texans, even outside of Deshaun Watson, it's widely said that is a rebuild, and also that the GM there, Caserio, is
from the Patriots. Yep.
Yeah, he is not received well, apparently.
I know he was not received. Well, I know he was definitely not received well by Deshaun Watson, and that's kind of when his opinion mattered. I don't know how much his opinion matters right now in Houston.
Yeah.
Again, we're not touching the off-field stuff, but on field, I don't know. I haven't heard much as far as who's getting reps behind center there. I can't imagine that with everything going on that Watson would get on the field. I don't know. I couldn't imagine it happening.
Well, so the Texans are in regards to Deshaun Watson, it's still, we have to let everything play out. And that's just kind of where the Texans are. If you don't have your number one quarterback, which they very, very well may likely not, they're going to be drafted in the top 3. That team.
But Mike, I mean, again, we talked about how we want to focus on field stuff, but for this particular one, it's kind of hard to avoid the off field stuff.
Yeah.
If he plays, Mike, if he plays, that's a PR nightmare.
It is.
There's no way that they can play him. So that they've got to be looking at every avenue.
I don't know what his contract is, but I mean, you can't just like cut him.
Well, they're tied in big money. They're tied in to buy him out. I think would be a fortune.
So for me, Texans is it's just kind of like a wait and see thing, man. There's a lot going on there. There's a lot that, for us to comment on it.
Even before that, I mean, it seemed like there was a lot of weird things. When they traded Hopkins, that was kind of a weird move.
Well, that was Bill O'Brien, man. B.O.B. He was just jettisoning talent.
Yeah, and I know he's not there anymore, but it seems like there was just a lot of weird things. Cam Newton starting for the Patriots. A lot of weird things coming out of there, and this just seems like it's like the cherry on the cake. And that's a team that's in a very, very rough space right now.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no way that they come out of this season with more than 4 wins.
I'll say this about the Texans. I don't have the education, the background to comment. I don't think no offense, I don't think you do either.
No.
To comment and speculate on legal proceedings and things of that nature.
Yeah.
We'll let the people who have studied law and the people who work in the legal field handle that.
Which is right. Like I said, we've said from day one, totally the off the field stuff we don't want to focus on.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was just kind of it's relevant more. It's relevant more to what avenue are the Texans going to take moving forward? Just because they are what is it, the proverbially rock in a hard place. I mean, they're in a no-win situation right now.
Well, back before Bill O'Brien went crazy, I mean, that team was in the playoffs, man. I mean, JJ Watt was there, Hopkins was there, Watkins was not in trouble, and the team was solid. I mean, they had Will Fuller making catches down the sideline, everything like that, making big plays. Defense was solid. It was the Texans defense used to be like a top 10 defense, maybe pushing top 5, stuff like that. So I mean, and that's back when they had Brian Cushing, stuff like that. I think they had Jonathan Joseph, but that team just really
they would track
know what happened.
We talked a little bit ago. We talked about the Cam Newton fumbled the ball on the first play. And Washington picked it up. Anyway, we talked about the Bills, the Browns, and the Chiefs. Mike, we go back 2 or 3 years. The Texans were in that conversation as one of those teams that were tracking way up. They were.
So with the Texans,
it just went to hell fast for them.
I think that something happened internally there in the front office. Something did happen internally there in the front office, and that is now whatever happened there is now rearing its ugly head, and that's what's going on with
they're gonna be in a rebuild mode for quite a bit of time.
They're gonna, yeah. So
unless somehow Deshaun Watson comes out of this clean and whatnot, they're in for a long, long road because he was a very young quarterback with a very big contract.
Yeah. So yeah, and the team on the other side of them, Green Bay, Rodgers is back.
Yeah.
This is a team, the Packers, who have Super Bowl aspirations. And I think there's some people's pick for the Super Bowl. That defense is still solid. Rodgers is, in that top 3 conversation of best quarterbacks.
His thing is he going to look interested, Mike? Is he going to look like he wants to be there?
I think that
is it one of these things that when the lights are on, he's going to show up?
I think that's well said. I think that Rodgers probably doesn't necessarily want to be in Green Bay because of the relationship with the front office. Mm-hmm. But I think that he loves football. I think that he's very competitive. I think he's ultra talented, which as a Detroit fan, these are hard truths that we must admit. But he's got the resume of those characteristics. And you just got to admit to yourself the truth sometimes. And that's fine. So I think that Green Bay is a team, with Rodgers, this is another guy I would put on the do not play during the preseason list. Todd Gurley right? Just whatever. And then week 1, he'll be ready to go. That offense will be ready to go. This is a team that everybody should just basically put in you don't put them in the playoffs, but you kind of just it's their division to lose.
Yeah.
So, Detroit's exciting for me. Dan Campbell has all the sound bites, everything like that. I think Detroit's offensive line will be a strength this year.
Well, they play tomorrow, Mike, and that's going to be a fun one to watch against the Bills. I mean, that's going to be an interesting game. Like you said, I'm interested to see what. Obviously, he's not going to, empty the kitchen sink on him. But it'll be interesting to see what he puts out there, what type of product the Lions put out there, because he is a good coach.
Well, I mean, if anything, there's going to be energy, and there's going to be, effort and everything like that, which kind of falls into the energy category. And I think that's what fans want to see from their team. Is that, it's not going to be like this dirty play. It's going to be energy. It's going to be by the book. It's going to be, we're not going to be committing these dumb penalties of, you touch the referee or whatever. It's another 50, stuff like that.
He got a bad rep in Miami, Dan Campbell, but I didn't think he got a fair shake there.
Well, he took over for Joe Philbin.
Yeah, and then he took over for during weird times. And like I said, I don't think he got a fair shake. It's nice to see that he got a second shot at it. But what I do hope is that I don't look at this as his real second chance. So I'd love to see him succeed there, but if he doesn't, I don't want him to be written off.
Well, yeah, and
hopefully he works out there.
He's definitely working uphill here. And he was an interim head coach in Miami.
Yep.
And then he went to New Orleans, coached assistant coach, tight ends coach there in New Orleans. Mm-hmm. And I mean, New Orleans for the past however long Sean Payton's been there, they've been successful. New Orleans may very well be in the playoff hunt.
He looks like a coach, Mike. He looks like a coach.
He does, man. And he brings that former player, knows how to connect with the players, everything. Yep. Treat them like adults, knows how to motivate them, knows how to just be, on the emotional level with them. He's been there and everything. So I think they've put together a really cool coaching staff of former players and, some ex-coaches and everything, former players that have moved into those coaching roles. So Detroit will be interesting. It'll be a fun watch.
Everybody's tied right now, Mikey.
I'm saying, so you never know, man. And this league is all about depth. It really is. And so that's why I'm kind of excited about the offensive line, because typically
Optimism, buddy.
Yeah,
Optimism across the league.
As long as I have I like watching the offensive lines play. I love watching, the battles in trenches. So that'll be fun for me. I know a lot of people like the points and everything like that, which if your offensive line is good enough, it should translate into points.
You're going to get your points.
Yeah. Are there any other cool games to look at? Or
I think we wrapped up for our whip around for tonight.
All right.
I said, I mean, we can, probably pop on next week and cover a lot of this. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of news, probably some injury updates. We talked about before this, we'd like to do a live episode and maybe try to get some people to comment and talk to us as we're talking. I think that'd be a little bit fun.
We're totally working on the live thing. That's definitely in the works. So our what do we have? 14 subscribers now. So guys, be on the watch out for that. Yeah. But whatever.
Listen,
really.
14, 15, 2, 3. It's good talking sports with you, buddy. And
yeah, man.
The next episode, like I said, I think we'll have a lot of material as far as the first week. We'll have a full week of games under our belt. I'll probably be cursing Cam Newton next week. And I'll be calling for Mac Jones to be the Patriots starter.
Preseason football. I'll just leave it there, man. I'll just leave it there. I think you're excited that there's football. I think we're all excited that there's football.
Oh yeah. I've missed it, bud. I've missed it. And that honestly, I'm going to be a little spoiled and say it's not even that much longer till we get college football too. Oh,
yes. Yes, indeed.
And we'll have to talk a little college football moving forward. I know we did it before. But where we got some, we actually going to have some rankings and stuff coming out.
Yeah, man. We got college football coming. MLB playoff pictures really shaping up. Basketball has been crazy with free agency. Hockey's been relatively quiet. But the Olympics all wrapped up. So, I mean, there's plenty of sports to talk about, especially with football starting back up, man. It's just a great time of the sports.
That's our wheelhouse, buddy.
Yeah. So, does that do it? Are we good?
I think we're good,
get a beer, Joey. Come on. They're in the fridge.
That's it, pal.
You got your dog there, man. We see the dogs making an appearance here.
Yeah, he decided to come in. Zoomer's decided to say hi.
We have an official Shipmake Sports Podcast mascot. So there we go.
And thank you to Sarah, my wife, for getting us up and moving today, get us rolling. We were having some technical difficulties before we started, but she was able to kind of get us on the right page there.
You were having technical difficulties.
All right. Well, she helped me.
Everything. Nah, it was me, the one that actually screwed it up. But anyway, we should be back. Hopefully, we'll be back as soon as we can. Next episode. And yeah, man, we'll catch you guys next time.
That's it, guys.
All right.